Welcome to the Spurs News Podcast, your home for all things Tottenham Hotspur. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everybody and welcome to a new episode of the Spurs News Podcast. I am Sam. As always, I'm always me. Joining me to discuss all things Tottenham Hotspur for another glorious week in the life of our football club. It's Matt.
Hey, you mate. Do you know what? I would have asked you like, how you are, but we got told off last week, didn't we, for not talking about the win quick enough. So should we just crack on with the win, shall we?
Oh, you saw that then?
It was constructive criticism, and I like the way you put constructive criticism.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we had a message last week that we focused far too much on negative things when we should have focused on the win. It's fair enough. You know what it is, Sam, though? It's like me and you, we'll meet down the pub, right, you having what you having, sit down. Yeah. We it's human nature. Let's have a moan first. And then we won, didn't we, yesterday? Well, we also, it's very conversational. It is quite literally the whole thing we go for on this is not really in-depth analysis.
No.
It's kind of two blokes talking random crap.
I mean, the thing is, you could go in depth. You could analyse Sam. Me,
I'm still pissed that I look at every freaking throw-in we take.
I know. Are you still doing that?
Yeah, I can't shake it out of my frigging head now. And what makes it worse is I know it, right? And so I do it, and then I berate myself. I'm like, why? Why did you pay attention to that? What is wrong with you? And the person who put that in my head, you know you are. You're a git. And for everyone sat there now thinking, I wonder what else I could do to him. Don't. It ain't funny. Sam, I noticed our goal kicks aren't going the full 10 yards recently. I think they're only going 9. Oh, no. I'll be measuring them now.
You know that's what's going to be happening now. People are going to be finding all kinds of specifics, aren't they?
Well, I said the other week, Stefan was on, and I said about crazy-ass theories as to why Tottenham are win one, lose one.
It's still going, by the way, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Our last, so I think it's 16 games now, have been win one, lose one, except for at one point we had 2 losses.
Southampton and
back.
Wolves, yeah.
Yeah, so it was like win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, 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 win, 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 lose. It's just been like, what the hell? I don't get it. And there's no pattern to it. Like if you looked at our fixtures and went, okay, they got a game against Man City, then they got a game against Burnley. Then they go, well, clearly they're going to lose to Man City, beat Burnley, and then lose that. No, not Tottenham. No. We will go and beat Man City, breaking them, by the way. They've not been the same since.
No, might even lose a title because of it, you know?
I know. Just like Liverpool fans like all over us on social media yesterday, just basically saying, thanks, Tottenham. You're welcome, I guess. I don't know. You've got to play us again soon. Maybe you won't like us then. Depending on what week it is, win one, lose one. Because if it's on our win week, you're screwed.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter who you are. You gotta laugh though. I mean, you messaged me yesterday. And you were like, "I'm finding this difficult at times." I was like, we gotta find the light in the dark. We gotta find the humour because I actually think it's worse. I don't know what anyone else thinks, but when we were consistently crap and losing a lot, and you won a game and it was like, hey, bloody hell, we won. But like drawing was kind of our win. It was like, I'm in that rut. I know where I'm at. It's okay. I'm losing 4-0 at Stoke. Yeah, what the hell? It's where we're at. And then when we were good, and you'd go into all the games, like even games we didn't come out and win, we were like, we played well. Next game we'll definitely win, and we would. And it was like, you're up there. This up and down like a yo-yo thing is not good for my mental health.
It's bizarre, isn't it? Do you know what? I try to kind of, what's the word? You know when you're on a boat and you try to find the horizon just to kind of level yourself off?
Yeah, exactly.
So like, obviously, we will get into it. We'll talk about the win yesterday, the brilliant win yesterday. But after the game, I was thinking, because I remember, because you talked about us two messaging each other, and I didn't like we won it by looks of things quite comfortably.
We did okay
yesterday.
Yeah.
But we've gone back to that kind of. I know me and you have talked about this. That kind of fear, like when like under Pochettino, you're like, right, we'll lose against Man United, but we'll destroy Brighton. But we're now back to like kind of. I don't know. This feels like one of those dodgy away games again,
Yeah.
But
especially when Kane missed that chance early on.
Yeah.
I saw that and I just went, oh, well, that's game over. Walk off the pitch.
Yeah, it's game over.
This is a 1-0 defeat slapped all over it.
86-minute header, yeah. So I kind of, like last night after game, I thought, oh, brilliant, fantastic, another win. And obviously, like most Spurs fans, looking at the league now thinking, well, are we back in it now for the top four?
No.
But yeah, like you do. But you look at, so when we sacked Nuno, we'd played 10 games, because I always remember this, we played 10 games. We'd won 5 and we'd lost 5. So it's easy to now look at the table and go, right, how have we got on since Conte arrived? And it's not actually that bad. So we're now currently at 115, drawn 3, lost 10. So under Conte, that's 110, drawn 3, lost 5. Yeah. Now, I appreciate that's not title-winning form, but it's still decent form.
It has improved, but it's still mental, this absolute all or nothing season. It's just like we win or we lose. We have no ability to draw a game.
It's bizarre, isn't it? Do you remember we had that season under Pochettino when we drew? Did we just draw one game all season? It was the last one against Everton.
Yeah, that one. I always remember back to the season where we drew loads. And it was like we hardly lost. I think it was the season we were unbeaten at White Hart Lane.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh, if Tottenham had just converted a couple of those into wins, And we looked at them, you're right, if we had a Zaha-type player who might have been able to grab us, like a Bale who grab us a couple of those points, we'd have won, stuff that year.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was almost like Pochettino looked at that season and went, right, that's it. From now on, we go for it. We win or we lose.
Yeah.
We do not.
And we've still got that mentality now, possibly.
And it is. It's kind of like, I don't know what's happened. I just want to touch very briefly on the Man United game, because we lost the game, and I don't know, it was probably petty in the moment, but when Ronaldo finished his hat-trick, I posted it on our Facebook as Ronaldo 3, Tottenham 2, because I actually felt quite accurate in that. Ronaldo just had one of his days where he was on the end of everything, but I actually don't think we played badly in that game. It was like really aggravating. It's just, I thought we did well. And then Brighton last night, everything I saw from the game, we did well. Romero with a fantastic finish. No one saw that coming.
Do you know what I love?
There was a glance. It was the way he just made it look like he was just stood in the way, and then boom, keeper wrong-footed. What a player!
Yeah, do you know what I love? Because I was watching the commentary afterwards, and the commentator said, "What was he even doing there?"
He genuinely had a look on his face of, I don't know. I brought the ball forward and thought, "Screw it, I'll stay here.
I'll stay up here."
Yeah, I'm tired. It's like when I used to play rugby as a prop. I'd make a sudden burst, and I'd have to take 5 minutes just to lie there, like, what happened? Oh, I don't know. I got a bone in my leg. Something hurts. Central defenders getting over the halfway line and then having some sort of like, oh, I don't know where I am. Quick, get in a box. That's not your box. Yeah, but I'm supposed to be in one. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I'm confused. But you know what? This is the thing with Romero. Don't get me wrong. I know he's a centre back and he wasn't. Yeah. What is he doing up there? But at the same time, he's a football player, isn't he? Yeah, no getting away. And I know that sounds a silly thing to say, but he's not. I say you're old fashioned because I know nowadays it's not even. I don't think even the thing to say a modern centre back now, because it's so long. Centre backs tend to be good football players, Yeah. But he is that, isn't he? He
is definitely. He's a footballing player, and when he or Dyer both have the ability to bring the ball from that and create an extra man, and you can see over time that they're trying to do that. Ben Davies has tried to do it as well, so clearly it's something they are being coached to do.
Yeah, of course.
And it is interesting when we see them do it and see it to great effect. Obviously, depending on, I think Dyer does it quite well. He spent a lot of time playing in midfield. I think Romero naturally has that ability. I think poor Davies looks terrified every time he does it, but He's our left-footed central defender right now, and he will be for the next 10 games.
Yeah,
so
I mean that's the thing. Look with Davis. You know, he's been a great servant to the club, hasn't he? And he's just one of those players that just it's almost like he knows what he likes what he knows. He's got that position. He's decent at it. You know, he's not going to pull up trees or anything. But that's him.
No.
You know.
No. Yeah. I saw someone on Twitter yesterday pointing out that we've got Ben Davies as our left-sided central defender, and I've just watched Jan Vertonghen play an absolute blinder for Benfica to take him through in the Champions League. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. I get where you're going with that. Like, Jan would probably have loved playing under Conte. Like, he probably would have been like, oh yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
But he'd reached a point. Everyone has this kind of I can't remember the term. My friend used to call it high school goggles, which is like you can't wait to leave school, and then on your last day, all of a sudden it's like, oh wow, I'm leaving, and you're looking at everything that was annoying you before is suddenly is all, you know, oh that's sad, I'm never going to see that person again, I'm never going to do this again. Whereas, you know, literally days before you're like, I cannot wait to leave this place.
Yeah. And
I think a lot of people get that with football players, like when they've left. Because Jan was done in the Premier League, genuinely. You know, who can forget him coming off against Wolves and basically sitting on the bench like a broken man? And the interviews he gave afterwards, talking about, like, that was when I knew that my fitness just isn't what it needed to be, etc., etc. So the Premier League is an animal all to itself, and you see players leave the Premier League that look like they're not up to it, like, oh, they'll never make it, you know, or they're too old, and they go and play in other leagues, and you're like, oh wow, you know, what a renaissance.
Yeah.
It's because it doesn't have that same 2-game-a-week intensity, you know. With the greatest respect to the Portuguese league, Jan basically can save himself for the Champions League. They probably have 2 to 3 competitive league games a season at Benfica, whereas in the Premier League, you can't stop ever. And as Tottenham are learning, you know, I still maintain it's definitely a mentality thing of this squad shows up to some games thinking, whew, Burnley, all right, well, we got this. Like, no, you don't. You really don't.
Yeah, you're right, and it's a combination of the two things, isn't it? It's a combination of the fact that the Premier League is a ridiculously the pace of the game. Like, you know, we was talking last week about Brian Gill, wasn't we, and how he's like an absolute superstar back in Spain. Yeah, he's just lost really back in England. Yeah. And the second thing, like you say, you know, you look at Portugal. I mean, this is my ignorance. I appreciate that's my ignorance of it, but I couldn't even name you more than about 3 or 4 teams in that Portuguese top league. You know,
well, I'm going to try it now. So Benfica, FC Porto, Sporting Lisbon. And I do know another one.
Braga, are they put in?
Braga,
is it Braga?
I think so. Yeah.
There you go. You see,
me and you are showing ourselves up a little bit here, but yeah, there's a lot of people going. There's this team. This team. Like, oh yeah, I remember those guys. Yeah.
But offhand, there we go.
I remember they knocked us out in such and such. Yeah, that's the guys. Yeah, like when someone the other day was talking about a team, FC something or another, and I was looking at it, I was like, why do I recognise that name? I'm like looking, I'm trying to work it out. So in the end I googled it, and it was like, oh yeah, that's the team whose manager was arrested for embezzlement, and from a jail cell they still beat us.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, Sam.
Thanks, Jose. You the man. You the man. Yeah. Sorry, but anyway, Brighton 2-0. I mean, Romero. I think the thing that I enjoyed the most about that is Kulusevski pointing at him like that came off you, didn't it? Yeah. And Romero celebrating like any good striker would. Like, yep, that was my goal. I meant that, and I'm the best hand player in the world.
Yeah, completely deliberate.
It was hilarious. Harry Kane got us our second. He did miss. I mean, that miss earlier on, I can't believe that. I managed to get a still frame of it, the picture where he has literally got the goal in front of him. Someone says, like, yeah, but it's on his left foot. I'm like, have you not paid attention to Harry Kane over the years? The guy can use both feet. He's lethal. It's like, it was almost like that chance came to him too early. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Do you know, it's funny because I woke up Seb this morning. He didn't know what the score was, so we went downstairs and I told him the score, but I put the highlights on, and then just before that, because that chance was on the highlights, I paused it almost at the same moment you did.
Ah, brilliant.
And I was like, where in the goal do you think he put that in? And he was like, I think near post. And then he was like, his face was like, hang on. But then when I think the problem is, it's a bit like when you look at VAR and, sometimes players get red cards and you look at it as a still, it's like, oh my God, that looks awful. And then when you look at it normally, it's got a different look about it. And I think when you watch...
The ball came to him at pace.
Yeah, it comes to him at pace. And he's going, you can see his balance, he's veering off to the left. Right, so he's obviously got the ball. He's hit the keeper, hasn't he? And he sort of set him off to the left. So he's kind of trying to hit it to the right, but his balance is going that way. So it's an odd one.
I think our expectations of Harry Kane are so high.
That he's just
like he misses that, and it's like, what the hell just happened? So I was on Twitter, and like the Twitter reaction was just like, I don't believe that. What? That don't make... It's like him missing a penalty. Next time Harry Kane ever misses a penalty, I swear the bookies are going to clean up, because the minute Tottenham get one, everyone's just like, money on it, money on it, all my house, all my baby's milk money. We're fine. The guy just hammers them. I mean, he took a penalty the other day. It was against Man United, didn't it?
Yep.
And like De Gea is in great form, and he went the right way. He guessed right. He was near it, but you ain't saving that. The guy buried it. It broke the net. It was ridiculous.
You can just imagine Kane, can't you, on the training field even now? I bet he spends about an hour when everyone's gone home just banging in penalties.
Well, there's a video somewhere. It was from earlier this year with our academy keepers taking it in turns, with Kane, Sonny, and someone else I can't remember now taking penalties. So it was our academy keepers versus Kane, basically like, can I save any of Harry's penalties? And there was a French keeper in our academy whose name I can't pronounce, Lo Tual or something like that. I really can't even attempt it, so I'm not going to try. And he gave this little interview like Spurs TV. He was like, I got one.
No way.
He's like, I got one. Barry was like, I'm out of how many? He said, that doesn't matter. I may have conceded 35, but I got one.
Yeah.
It was like a real proper grin on his face, which I enjoyed. But he did get a goal last night. It was his second goal, and with that goal, Harry Kane has broken another record. Have you seen this?
I have, the most away goals scored in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So when I heard that, I was like, he's still a fair way off Shearer. So how many goals did Shearer score at home?
Oh, I can... Yeah, that's a good point, yeah. At Ewood Park and then at St James's, you went there and Shearer gave you a absolute hiding.
Yeah.
Because the thing that I think, when I saw this and I heard the number of goals, I was like, that's impressive. But then I saw the number of games he's done it in compared to everybody else, and it's ridiculous. So the top five, okay. Andrew Cole, or Andy Cole to me and you, 83 goals in 206 games, okay? Mm-hmm. Frank Lampard got 85, but in 305 games.
Wow.
So to be fair, Lampard's a midfielder.
And not a very good manager.
Yeah. Oh, you leave poor chubby Frank alone. Do you know there was that thing when he was Chelsea manager? Every time they lost, this Twitter account added weight to his picture. So every time we lost, so he had this picture of him doing a post-match interview, and so he got fatter and fatter, and the Twitter account was called Fat Frank Loses Again. And every time they'd lose, people would find this account, like Arsenal fans, people would find this account and retweet the new image.
Oh, sure.
Well, the guy's back.
Yeah.
And at Everton, I mean, he already looks like, a comic book character. It's ridiculous. Alan Shearer scored 87 in 219 games.
Okay.
Wayne Rooney, the previous record holder, had 94 in 243. Okay, so 94 in 240. So Harry Kane now has 95 in 139.
Wow, that is impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, so the nearest to him was Andrew Cole with 206, but he only got 83 goals. Shearer 219, 87, but 95 in 139. He's clear by a long way.
I mean, he's still got another good 7 years in front of him, hasn't he?
Oh, potentially, definitely. I mean, obviously you got to caveat that with any potential injuries, but the guy looks after himself and seems to have the determination that he definitely wants to play 5 years more in the Premier League without a doubt.
He could play, Sam. He could play to 35. Like this is the thing. It's a bit like the I always think of Sheringham.
Yeah.
Sheringham played, and he played top level. He played for West Ham when he was in his late 30s, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And here's the thing: is Harry Kane's game is evolving all the time. He is still lethal, still scoring goals, but he is quickly becoming that number 10.
Yeah,
he is quickly becoming one of the best playmakers in the league, which is insane when you think about it. I saw Gary Lineker do a tweet yesterday saying, "Oh, how is the best passer of the ball in the Premier League a right back?" referring to Trent Alexander-Arnold. I don't know what planet he's on. I mean, for one, De Bruyne and a few of those other players are phenomenal as well, but you can't look past Kane for passing. I think it's so easy that people pigeonhole players and they don't really watch them. They just kind of go, Kane, goals. That's it. You don't think about anything else. And Tottenham fans, I think, have probably lost their voices almost from the point of view of having to keep reminding people that, no, seriously, now the guy's found his form again. You just watch. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So we beat Brighton 2-0. Harry Kane sets a new record. And now we play West Ham.
Me and Seb are going to this game. This is going to be a lose, isn't it? It's a loss. If it follows the rules...
Why you go?
do you know what though? But we said in this 15
it's the
games,
hope, isn't it?
It's the hope that kills you. But in these 15 games, we've got the anomaly of the 2 losses. So hopefully this will be an anomaly of the 2 wins.
Oh no! I'll see you doing it to yourself, Matt. I just want to hug you right now. The problem I have, right, and this is why I think this win one, lose one crap is worse than just being consistently rubbish. Is I'm like you. We won that game and I went, right, this time we're going to get on. This time. Is the one. This is broken it this time. Now we play West Ham and this is our chance because we got a game in hand over them. Plus we're only 1 point behind. So if we beat them, we go above them with a game in hand. Like this is it. This is the one. And I am like, yeah, here we go. This is it. This is Tottenham. We're on the charge. Oh, I've done it every time. I've done it like for 5 weeks. Every time we've won a game, I've been like, haha, here we go. Now we kick in. Oh, no, we don't. Okay, this one, that was a good win. This is the one. No, okay, no, we don't. Okay, now this time. There's no way we can. Oh, we did. Yep, right, brilliant. Just, I don't know how much more I can do this, man.
Exactly.
I am with every ounce of me praying to all of my gods that we somehow beat West Ham, and there are multiple reasons for this. One, it would just that getting that monkey off the team's back, right? Just getting this kind of win one, lose one crap off their brains, and they can all go, right, that's it. Now we're on a run. We're on momentum. It'd be massive. Two, look at the table. I think our ability to progress as a club this season, getting top 4, just grabbing 4th place any way possible, would be huge. I think it's probably the biggest it's ever been for us. With Conte, with every other aspect going on, it's massive. And 3, West Ham fans do my head in.
I know. They're not quite on a par with Chelsea fans. But
no, Chelsea fans are their absolute racist, horrible best. But West Ham fans who, no, don't get me wrong, they've got their segments as well. But this kind of rivalry with us, which I've ignored, because it's like, you're not our rivals, go away. And now they finished above us last season, they're up there again this season. It's like, you're getting to the point I have to take you seriously, and I don't like it.
Do you know? I went to see Spurs West Ham a few years back it was in the cup, because we beat them in the League Cup this season. It was the last time we played them, and they beat us 2-1. I don't know if you remember that one. I think Tim Sherwood was manager at the time. Your mate Tim.
I have completely.
You've whacked it.
That didn't happen. Stop saying silly things.
So
there's that blank period between managers that I refuse to acknowledge.
yeah, absolutely. So I can remember because the way Seb and I get to the game is we'll go to Finsbury Park, and then we'll get a tube one stop to Seven Sisters, and then walk from Seven Sisters. But this particular occasion, I was thinking, I don't fancy that walk. I'm gonna get on the overground from Seven Sisters down to White Hart Lane. Yeah. And then I got to the platform, and the trains come in, and it's opened, and it's just this sea of West Ham fans with just just honestly, it's like the inbreeding going on in that one train carriage, and just this all just so much going on. I thought, do you know what? I turned around, I thought, I'll just go and walk it. I'm not even going to contemplate getting on that train.
I years ago, absolutely years ago, I went. One of my friends, a massive Bristol Rovers fan from where I am, and they were playing Millwall, and I was working there in the area, and he's like, "Oh, do you want to come? I've got a ticket." I was like, "Yeah, okay." And he had a Rovers shirt for me, and he gave it to me, and I was like, "Yeah, right." And I'm thinking, if I'm walking to the game at Millwall, I'm not walking down the road in a Bristol Rovers shirt today, so I'm gonna put a jacket on, done my jacket up, and I'm walking along. And he says, "Oh, right, it's a pub here. Should we stop for a pint?" I was like, yeah, great idea. Now, if you don't know an area, right, so I imagine if you go to a lot of away games and stuff like that, you know the pubs you go in, the pubs you don't. We went into this pub, right, and I'm sat there, and I'm not thinking at all. I'm a Tottenham fan, right, so I'm just in my own little world, my own little bubble, I'm just having this beer, and I start to look around. Everyone in this pub is shaved head,
right,
very white, tattoos of like Millwall FC, England till I die, mum.
Yeah.
Just like every single person about. The guy behind the bar has got 2 guns behind the bar. The place was called, I can't remember what it was called. It was called like the Lion's Den.
The Last Hope.
Like, yeah. Ye who enter here be lost. And I'm like looking around. I turn back to my mate who sat there, and he's like sipping his beer, and I'm like, "Do your fucking jacket up." He's like, "What?" "Do your fucking jacket up." And he's like, "Oh, right." And we're just sat there, it's carrying on, and I could see him looking over like, "They're not from round here." I'm like trying my best not to have my Bristolian accent.
I was going to say that, Sam. Like, please tell me you went to the bar and went, "Can I have a couple of pints, mate?" Please tell me you did that with your impressions.
I like literally, I was just like sat there and I'm thinking, "Oh, jolly good day, so
don't do that, mate.
This isn't a wine bar. I'm lost. What? Off we go." Like, I was just like, "Oh no, this is a nightmare. And this guy comes over, and I'm like, "Oh, this is it. This is how I die.
This is how I die. Yeah.
This is it. This is how I die." And he comes over and he goes, "You gasheads," which is the colloquial for Bristol Rovers fans. And my mate just goes, "Is that all right?" I'm like, oh my god. He's immediately, he went, "Yeah, suppose."
Oh,
better than the red lot. 'Cause apparently, a few weeks earlier, they'd played Bristol City, and Bristol City fans had wrecked the pub. And so they said if that shirt was red, you'd be being buried in it, and walked off.
Jesus,
and I just went, "Finish your fucking drink, and we are going out of here, and I'm never going to a fucking football with you ever again," and I haven't.
Do you know what? It's one, I've been to a lot of away grounds, but just because, like we say, we talk about Chelsea fans, Millwall fans, they take it to a just completely other level.
It's another level.
They're just, honestly, like, even
if they knew I was a Tottenham fan, I think I would have been dead.
Yeah, even looking at the when thankfully the players still take the knee and they're still trying to raise awareness for it. They were just booing them from the off, wouldn't they?
Yeah, just unbelievable. To me, that is like another level of just misunderstanding,
ignorance.
What the hell is going on? Ignorance.
Yeah.
The Chelsea fans chanting Roman Abramovich's name over the top of the moment for Ukraine isn't ignorance. It's just absolute belligerent assholedom.
But did you know what though? Like after I don't know if you was planning to talk about it, but after the news about the Chelsea club trying to. Like, this is just insane, isn't it? Right? This is why the fans are like it, because they've basically said, because we can't take our allotted amount, you shouldn't be able to have your fans in there. It should be behind closed doors. Honestly, it's outrageous. Do you know I know you're all over Twitter. Did you see the tweet by Graham Lasseau? Now, this is a player that played at Chelsea for 12 years. And
I didn't.
Yeah, Graham Lasseau retweeted it, and he said, I've been at this club for 12 years, and I can't believe that they're actually... this is something they've come out with.
Oh no, they're unbelievable. The attitude they've had of there are some sort of innocent victims in all of this is mind blowing. It's like, I've been spending the money of a murderer. I'm not accusing him of that. I'm not going to get done for libel. I'm just saying it's the equivalent of someone spending the money of a murderer for a year and then wondering why people are mad at them.
Yeah,
It's like, well, what are you talking about? I didn't commit the murders. Yeah, but you were spending the money. Yeah, but I didn't. Personally, I didn't kill anyone. But you profited from it. It doesn't matter because I didn't do the bad things.
There you go, Charlie Manson, isn't it? I didn't kill him. I shouldn't be imprisoned.
Yeah, why am I in prison? It's ridiculous. Yeah, well, you knew about it. Yeah, but
I didn't do
there's
it.
Knowing and then there's doing. I find the Chelsea thing both hilarious and sad at the same time because I am laughing at them a lot because I know they'll be fine.
Yeah.
But their sugar daddy days are done, and that is kind of amusing to me because they have got a squad of players there throughout their academy as well who are all on massive money, and I'm talking a lot. There's academy players they have signed, I know, because they poach them from London clubs and all around the country by basically giving them money. Like, Tottenham's got a tier system for academy players' earnings. Chelsea simply doubled it.
Wow.
They simply looked at our tier system and went, right, we'll double the money for every academy player so we can pick and choose who we want.
It completely takes the competitiveness out of it, doesn't it?
Well, it does, because and don't get me wrong, these people are doing nothing wrong. Like, if I got a kid who's 15 years old and he's got an academy contract for Tottenham at £500 a week, or an academy contract at Chelsea for £1,000 a week, what am I going to do that's best interest for my kid? Forget a vested interest for a minute, but even as a child, you look at that and you go, right, if you sign this contract, you're there till you're 17, and then you've got a chance to progress as a football player. Even if you don't, at £1,000 a week until you're 17, you have got a nest egg to set you up to do an apprenticeship, to do all these other things. Of course, your brain, I know there are a lot of instances where families are just taking the money off the kids, which is awful, but if I'm just being me a second as a parent, what am I going to do? Of course I'm going to go with the more money because that gives that kid more security. No matter what happens then, he has got a nest egg and a settlement and stuff like that. And the amount of money involved in some of these deals for some of these kids is ridiculous. Like, we'll give him $500 a week, but we'll buy you a house. What? Yeah, you live currently in Bristol. We want to sign your kid to a contract here in London. Obviously, we want his family here, so here's a nice house. So, okay. Yeah, it is mad, but it's something I could do an entire podcast on that. And if anyone ever wants to hear me rant about it, just drop me a message. But I've felt for a long time, and by the way, Tottenham are just as guilty. It's not like I'm saying everyone's bad and we're heroes. There should be some form of regulation around youth recruitment. I've said it for years, and I still believe it because there is such a massive difference, and so many really talented young players get screwed. Not because they make bad decisions, but because there are some clubs out there who simply recruit to stop them going somewhere else. So you think about if you're a really great player and your local team happens to be a League 2 team, a League 1 team, rather than going there, developing and maybe getting first team football and becoming a great young player that one of these top clubs then has to sign for big money, they'll simply recruit you while you're young, throw you in their academy and forget you. They are just stopping the development of players. It is crap. But anyway, I'll stop because I'll rant. I'll go off on one. It's that time of the show where we will hand over to the lovely people on social media. This week, I think we've actually only got stuff from Facebook, but let's have a very quick look.
Now it's time for your comments from our social media.
Yeah, Facebook only. We have 3 questions only this week. But they are quite interesting ones.
Good.
One's worthy of discussion, he says.
It's not quantity, it's the quality. Isn't that the saying?
Yes. It's not the size that matters. Well, wait a minute. I feel like I've thrown myself under the bus there.
Exactly.
Well, there goes my next few dates. Okay, Michael Joseph says, "Hi fellas, hope everyone is well. Thank you. That was polite. Wasn't that nice?
Yeah.
Conte has hinted a few times to the media if Tottenham do not share his vision for the team, he may walk. I personally like that he does this. It keeps reminding Levy and those in charge. What are your thoughts on this? Also, we are overdue for a Matt Stats. Yeah, it's true, we are overdue for a Matt Stats. You kind of wheel that out for special occasions now. That's kind of like podcast specials now get the Matt Stats treatment because, let's face it, you work longer hours than you used to.
I work for a start. When we first started doing the podcast, I wasn't even working. I was just a stay-at-home. I used to give my daughter some.
Stay at home dad's work, mate. Yeah, don't want to be saying that.
But I used to chop her up some cucumbers, some peppers, and I go, right, Layla, just sit here, and I used to put on something on television. I can't remember what it was, something on television.
CBeebies.
Only come and see Dad if it's very important, okay?
Oh, I remember pausing sometimes. That's right. Need the toilet. That's important. We're gonna pause. Yeah.
Oh dear, those are the days.
Good old days. Yeah. But yeah, so Matt Stats are for special occasions now. I do keep coming up with feature ideas, and it's kind of like, wow, time just doesn't allow.
Does it?
It's crazy. I go into like every week with like the best intention of I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this. At the moment, I was talking to a lady who runs a Tottenham women website, and it does all this. He does some great articles, great insight, and I spoke to her about doing a feature on our podcast. And I spoke to her ages ago. We spoke on the phone. We went through it, everything. I was like, oh, this could be really good. And she said, well, the only thing, she said, I don't like the idea of me just saying Tottenham women won this game. I want to get into it like a debate, like you do with the men's game. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'm up for that. Yeah, that'd be great. And then I just haven't followed. I'm awful. I'm a terrible person. Like I wasn't feeling well for a couple of weeks. Then I had like all this work stuff, and it suddenly dawned on me yesterday. I'm like, it's been 4 weeks and I've not messaged her back. Yeah. How in the hell has it been 4 weeks?
Just
I'm
life
like,
gets in the way, mate, doesn't it?
But you get it in your brain. It's like, oh, it's been a few days, but I'll message her tomorrow. Yeah, I'll do that. And then all of a sudden, it's been 4 weeks. So I messaged yesterday a massive grovelling apology, which I hope will be well received. And if she's listening, sorry. Really sorry.
Yeah. No, we all got our lives to get on with, haven't we, mate? Do you know what? Talking about features, I think I might have said this to you before. I've got a couple of blokes I know that are diehard Arsenal fans who are willing to come on, like talk about debate and banter. We could have some fun.
All right, I will agree to that once they give us a date for the North London.
There we go. Okay, we'll do that then, shall we? Yeah, it would be fun.
Because my Arsenal fan friend is a bitch. I don't like her right now.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of hers at all.
No.
I am getting... So, I've talked about this before. We give each other forfeits. For years, I had to do crap. And for the last however many years, I've had my revenge. And have I had my revenge. This season, it's obviously looking like she may finally get revenge on me. And I am regretting every spiteful thing I've done to her for the last 5 years. Yeah. Because every week, every game week that goes past and they're still above us, I'm getting another little... I'm thinking about maybe you'd look really good in red. Oh, fuck off. Anyway, so that's that. So, Michael, apologies, we got on a tangent there. The Conte thing's an interesting one for me, and that's why I said I like these questions this week, because I completely understand what he is saying and how he is saying it. I, on the other hand, really dislike this almost bipolar, like Tottenham are bipolar attitude he has with the press, where if we win a game, this is the best squad I've ever worked with. If we then lose the next game, I am a terrible manager, I hate the world, I'm going to burn it all down. We win the next game, this squad is awesome, I'm great, we are really on the right tracks here. Lose the next game, by the way, if they don't back me in the summer, I walk. You know, it is really... Like, when he came in, I felt like an effect. I watched this guy on the touchline, I watched how driven he was and listened to him, and I thought, okay, I can really warm to him. He is really competitive, really fiery, and I do expect this kind of fiery, passionate outpouring at times. And don't get me wrong, I'm not like I'm saying I'm done with it. I am getting a bit fed up with it. It is a bit, it's like, come on, mate, you've made your point. Now, if behind the scenes... he's saying to them, seriously, guys, you know I've told you what needs to be done. That's one thing, but to just constantly doing it. Imagine you're a player reading that all the time. I don't see how this is beneficial to the squad.
Yeah, I think for me it's quite difficult to think about how to think about it. I mean, I know exactly. I agree with you what you're saying. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Like, we win and suddenly everything's rosy. We lose and suddenly we. But I just think that we've discussed before, the two of us, how we wish Pochettino had been more vocal, and if he had been, then potentially we could have got the players that we needed. And
this is the interesting thing, because I for all my fed up of hearing him say it, I have this feeling the reason why I'm fed up is because I know it won't work. And it's like, you're making my now miserable when I know it's not going to work. Because I have no faith in our ownership are suddenly this summer going to go, do you know what, for 20 years, this year, I feel frisky, It's
sure.
It's like we don't have those owners. We just don't do it. And every year, I've done it. I'm so guilty of this. Everyone's guilty of this as Tottenham fans. We go, oh, this summer's going to be a big one. It has to be because of X, Y, and Z. Just pause for a minute and think how many times you've said it. How many times you've fought it. Well, this window is make or break. This window, Levy's got nowhere to hide if this window goes wrong. I think I said that 4 years ago.
But yeah, I know what you're saying, Sam. But this,
please don't say, but this one's different.
No. But yeah, there you go. I was gonna. No, I think what makes this one unique.
Oh no, you all Calverted me. Brilliant, well done. Yeah. Don't you dare mention the war. I wasn't gonna. Well done, bravo. Okay. Why is this one unique?
No, I agree with you, and it's that hope that kills you. But I think what makes this one unique is that we do have a world-class manager who is at the top of his game, unlike Mourinho, who was a world-class manager but wasn't at the top of his game, who basically is saying, I'll walk. Now, in the past, think of a manager we've had that's been A, world-class, B, in top of his game, and C, you'd be like, oh, please don't walk, right? Like, don't get me wrong, we loved Pochettino, we loved, the likes of, I'm trying to think back, Redknapp, all those kind of players. Yeah. But there was that, it was almost like an empty threat for them. Like, if one of them had said, if you don't back me, I'm going, you'd be like, with Redknapp, for example, I remember when we beat Newcastle 5-0 a few years back when he was being touted for the England job, and we was all singing Redknapp, we want you to stay, and we did want him to stay because he brought us up to the next level. But it's almost like, if you can imagine, if he was like going, if you don't invest in me, I'm off. There would be a big part of us and Levy thinking, well, all right then, if you have to. I mean, I'm sure we've got other managers, but we've got literally one of the.
Redknapp's a good example of where he did that, and Levy went goodbye.
There you go, right? But Conte, I'd argue, is probably one of the top 5 managers in the world right now. Yeah, right. So we've got one of the best managers at the top of his game. So it's almost like I don't mind him having these of making these threats, because it's like if you don't back him, right? And I'm not saying he will, but if you don't back him, mate, honestly, the comeback for the outrage from a fan, and Conte knows that. He listened. Look, when I go to games like the Everton game, we were singing his name like we do, and he's looking at us and clapping. He knows how much we're investing in him.
No, he does.
He knows that.
He said in an interview recently, he's like, he wants to win something here and turn things here, because he's like, Tottenham fans from the day I walked in, like, I didn't deserve that from day one, but they've backed me from day one. I mean, yeah, we are. I was about to say a loyal bunch, but we're a fickle bunch. We're football fans.
Yeah, of course.
He leaves us and goes to Man United and says, "I hated being in down there. We were going to hate the guy."
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. I am, like I said, I'm conflicted. I think it's a real great discussion though, because I don't think there's a wrong answer in there. I think you can be aggravated that he keeps doing it, but still understand why he's doing it. And I think, like I said, my aggravation comes less from disagreeing with him, and more that I just know it ain't going to do anything. I just, like you just said then, it's like, what actually happens then? So let's say we get to the summer, they have their sit down at the end of the season. Let's say miraculously, somehow, we've grabbed top 4. I believe that will allow the club extra money to potentially buy players. Also, it will allow the club to attract certain players who are out of contract. And I think they will be all over that, because not only is it players who will improve us, but it's also marquee. It's like big uplifts. You know, the Dybala from Juventus, who is basically mates with Paratici. It's like ridiculous. They go out to restaurants together and stuff.
Sure.
So you can see that. Kesse from Milan. These players would definitely improve us and would be like a massive shot in the arm for the club, you know, financially and just generally morale of like, wow, they're big signings. And also Conte would, you know, welcome. And you can then, if you pick those two up on a free, suddenly you're then, the money's available for the defence, because we all know that's where it needs to be spent.
Yeah, sure.
So you've got that there, and you've got that ability, and if you don't get Champions League, I think that's where our problem is. I think that is where we hit the wall, because Daniel Levy, Joe Lewis is not an owner who's going to go, do you know what, if I put 200 million in, this club will fly. You don't care. Right. He's on his yacht, the SS Great Go Fuck Yourself.
Yeah.
And Daniel Levy, for all the kind of like Daniel Levy went to him and stuff, there's so many different versions of what that meeting was about. But unless Daniel Levy has some sort of investment plan in place, you know, we're talking about the stadium naming rights and stuff and how difficult it is in this market. Barcelona have just done a deal with Spotify.
That's right. Yeah.
The Spotify Nou Camp, or the Nou Camp Spotify Stadium.
This was a club that wouldn't even refuse to have sponsorship on their shirts up until a few years ago.
Yeah. Well, they've got a €1 billion black hole in their finances. And now they've cut their wage bill. They've managed to get it to a point where they are actually, because they got fans back, they're back to making a profit. They've now done this deal. They're fine again. Barcelona are back as a financial powerhouse, all based off the back of that, because the banks are now seeing, okay, you've got this income stream. you know, we're okay again. Let's sort this out. Tottenham, you know, we've been hanging around for years to try and get our brand new stadium done with this deal. Spotify, loads of companies were involved, were circling, were discussing. The fact that Spotify now have probably one of the most famous stadiums in the world for cheaper than what we're asking for, I think again establishes where our problems are. You know, we could get a 200 million investment from a company with the naming rights. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we should sell it to anybody, you know. It's not like, yay, the farmer's market ground, woo, you know. I'm not saying that. I think you do have to select the brands you pair up with carefully. But there is definitely an element of, we are just constantly trying to achieve something that isn't there without doing it correctly. We brought in this guy who's like a specialist for doing this in the NFL. He's worked with various teams, and his whole role, his whole thing at the club is to nail this down, and none of them are close. Like I've seen so much stuff from people who are very trusted. It's like they've had these discussions, it's really good discussions, but Tottenham won't move on the price, so they've moved on. It's like, yeah, but anyway, that's that. So I think the Conte thing's a great debate, Michael. Thanks for bringing it up. I think everybody listening will have possibly a different, varying opinion on it. I think if we win a game, if we can win a few more games, but to me, it's like all about top 4. Top 4 this season really is our be-all and end-all, because I think the difference is going to be huge. I think if we get it, then the financial, the ability for the club to make moves will be so different to anything else. But with the team win one, lose one, I can't see it happening. It's just so mad.
Yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it?
Tom Perks says, I'm scared to ask anything about the men's team before tonight's game. He posted this yesterday. So instead, can we please have an update on Spurs women? Yes. But Tom, please bear with me. I'm going to do it next week. My hope is the lovely lady who I've apologised to profusely will be willing to come on, and we're going to do a little pre-record segment of me and her talking and basically doing this is where we are. I want to try and do like a little focus as well on like one player a week, kind of like so people can get to know who they are, position, roles, stuff like that. But yeah, so Tom, bear with me. That is coming. I am gonna get the intro re-recorded because do you remember when we played them, all the different versions my mate did?
That's right, yeah.
Here come
funny.
the girls.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no, what are you doing? So the last one is Liam Hickey. Now Liam, I don't know how to take this, so I'm going to read it as it is, and Matt, you decide whether you think he's tongue-in-cheek or if he's serious.
Okay.
Can you organise a club boycott of merchandise, membership, etc. until the club back Conte and keep Kane? I think he's serious.
Yeah, if he is, I don't think that'll work.
No, I don't know. I mean, I cancelled my membership last year because I was so done. I was so fed up. And it was kind of like the only thing I had any control over as a fan from a distance. It's kind of like, you know, I don't really go to games anymore because I'm old. It's just like this is something I do. My membership from me and my daughter. I'm so fed up with the way they're running the club. No, I'm done. I'm not going to keep it going. And I've not come back. They've not done anything that's made me think, do you know what? Yeah, okay, you got me back. Nothing has changed, really. Would I organise... it's a very difficult thing because I, at the moment, don't see anything that's kind of different than what I've seen for 20 years. Now, that in itself could be a reason to protest, I guess. Like, nothing has changed.
Yeah, sure.
But to me, for me personally, to be, I don't know, up to doing something like that, to the point of driving it forward, it would need to almost be, like you said, the worst case scenario, we get to the end of the season. Let's say we finish 5th. Let's say Conte sat down and gone, right, well, I've got us the Europa League. My plan will be to win it. I need this, and this. Get me that. And the club go, ooh, I can get you maybe
someone on the wing.
Genus.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah. We've been tracking a lovely young winger from France. No one cares. And I think Conte just goes, ha, you're joking, right? Okay, goodbye.
Yeah.
Walks out the door. Now, if that happens, I think as a fan, there is literally only one thing the club can do to appease enough of the fan base to prevent, absolute carnage, and that would be bring back Pochettino. But I want to put a massive caveat on this, okay? Because I want everyone to hear me, because everyone knows I'm a massive Pochettino fan and I'd welcome him back. I do not think Pochettino should come back to the status quo. The man did amazing work with us. Amazing work. In ridiculously difficult circumstances of having a fraction of the budget of our rivals, plus a move to Wembley, plus then a delayed stadium thing, so it was half and half for a season. He did incredible things under all those circumstances. And when he got to a point where he needed to be backed and needed the club to go and make transfers and get the squad revitalised, they didn't do it and they sacked him.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
For him to come back, things have to be different. And right now, I have seen nothing. Since Pochettino's gone, I have seen nothing to suggest we are different. And so I'm kind of like, if someone came in like a consortium and bought us, and then brought Pochettino back as the manager, I'd be over the moon.
Yeah,
I'd be
sure.
like, this is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right now, I think Pochettino's blinded by love, though. He loves us, and it's kind of like, I think if Daniel Levy rang him and went, "Oh, Conte's walked out on me," I've realised I love you all along, and I've tried other people, but it's not worked out. Please, I want you back. I think Pochettino would be like, you had me at hello. I'm on my way.
Come on, you must still, every time you hear that song that goes along, one of these magic, every time you hear the actual song, that brings a tear to my eye still now.
There's an attachment there. There's an attachment between the fan base because of the incredible work he did. and there's an attachment from him to us, which is incredible. Now, literally the only thing Levy could do to keep his job would be to bring him in, because that would appease enough of the fan base, but it wouldn't appease all. Because like you look at the kind of discussions online. There's this story in L'Equipe in France that Antonio Conte is the number one target for Paris Saint-Germain to replace Pochettino. This summer, both of them have 1 year left on their respective deals, so everyone's kind of gone, well, Conte wants to leave, Pochettino wants to come back. The two clubs would probably have a chat and just do a manager swap. Now, the reaction to that are people like, no, absolutely ridiculous. It's like going back. He got fired for a reason. Conte's one of the top managers in the world. If you don't back him, we riot. And there is a big element of that regardless. Like for me, I would be livid if we get to the summer and Conte walks, because if he walks, you know he's had a conversation and they've gone, we've got 55p left.
Yeah, sure.
Here's a bag of Watsits. Please stay. And he's gone because he's like, no, I want to win things. You don't want to win things. I'm done. So if he walks, we all know that has happened because he has quite cleverly and bluntly told us that's the case. In every press conference.
Yeah, of course. Would you? I know, obviously, talking about the summer transfer window and what happened. Do you think there's anything to be read into the fact that the season ticket renewals the deadline finishes before the?
Yeah, I don't like that. Because I've been meaning to ask you, how do you feel about that? You're a season ticket holder. I think that's nasty. I don't like it at all.
It worries me. I don't know if there's anything to be read into the fact that they're going to disappoint us during the summer. So,
yeah.
So let's just get you in before we disappoint you.
Yeah, I don't like it, and there's a lot of reasons why I don't like it. One is because their rationale for it's horseshit. Their rationale is, next season's a weird season because the World Cup's like not in the summer, it's in things. So we're starting the league earlier, so we need more time and all of this. That's bullshit. Yeah. Absolute bullshit.
Especially as
they've got the staff, they've got the automation nowadays.
Yeah, my season ticket is just on my phone. Like it literally takes some seconds to get the new one put on.
Man, it is nothing. It is such horseshit. Now, the trust have combined with, for the first time, they've combined with like Proud Lily Whites and all of that, and have written an open letter to the club just going, what are you doing? Reverse this. And the club are ignoring it. As far as I've seen so far, they've just got their fingers in their ears like, la 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 la, we're amazing. Our stadium's amazing. We want people to be in our lovely new stadium. The thing that they froze ticket prices, and I saw that when they did it, and a lot of people went, oh, well, that's good. And I went, yeah. But when you've priced it above everyone else already, it's kind of like the least you can do, right?
Of course.
It's like if Tottenham were a Champions League team, picked up a trophy, and they put the price up, everyone would be like, yeah, but we are, okay, right, it doesn't matter. I'm on board. The price has gone up by the rate of inflation. That's normal. Off we go. We have stalled for years, and yet they've kept putting the price up. But then this year, they're like, the price freeze, you got to renew it early, though. But the price freeze, you got to renew it like now. But the price freeze. So we all know they've not done it to do some good. They've done it to take the heat off the fact they're trying to lock people in early.
Yeah.
And the locking people thing in early, it doesn't sit well with me, because like you said, it's like, well, come the end of the season, Conte's going to have a chat with Daniel Levy. If Conte walks after that chat, every one of those season ticket holders are going to be looking at their season ticket going, what have I done?
Yeah.
Why have I done that? And then there's no kind of fear factor for the club. There's no, well, we can now appoint Nuno again,
Yeah, you're right. It's really... See, it's one of those, I don't want to bite my nose off to spite my face.
No.
Which is it. And, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do because...
I think the club this season, I can't speak for you, mate, and it is a personal decision. I think the club this season will see the renewals happen because people like you are thinking to themselves, I don't want to lose my season ticket because things are crap now. It doesn't mean they're going to be crap next season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I would say, if a lot of people renew their ticket, I think, again, I can't speak for you, but if it was me, I'd be renewing it thinking to myself, if you do mess me over this season, like this summer, Conte walks, you sign, some kid from Burnham, just
sure.
like
yeah.
I that's it. Like, it doesn't matter what comes next. I'm never gonna trust you again. Like, I am done. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of people would then become very hostile. There's a lot of trust involved with these things. Season tickets are massive. The club need an atmosphere in that stadium. You have to have fans in there who are singing fans, who are going to chant, because otherwise it could just become another lifeless bowl.
Yeah. Do you know?
And if you
sorry,
I was just to finish it, and their argument always is, well, if a season ticket holder drops off, we've got this massive waiting list. A lot of that is corporate crap. A lot of that is. I say corporate crap. There's people who do that, but like, they get these corporate seats where every week is someone different sitting in them. They're not necessarily Tottenham fans. They're just like, oh look, I'm at a nice stadium. Oh look, it's pretty, and oh look, that bloke's Harry Kane. He plays for England. I'm sure of it. It's like,
yeah, sure.
And you get that, and it's fine. That's revenue for the club, whatever. But if you start having that as the majority, then you've got an issue, because there's no atmosphere, and those stadiums can quickly become shite. You only got to look at the empty crates. When we play Arsenal at their ground, that place can sound incredible. It really can, because their fans are up for that game. 90% of the games I see played there, it is a library.
Yeah, of
it
course.
is shite.
Yeah.
The West Ham Stadium is not a football stadium, and West Ham fans know that themselves. They're so far from the pitch, they need friggin' telescopes half the time. But we go there, the place sounds incredible. But then I watch 90% of the games there, the sound just vanishes. It's rubbish.
I was watching the last 15 minutes of the Arsenal-Liverpool game yesterday, and I know they were 2-0 down, but they weren't that.
It was dead.
but the thing is, they looked like they were still like that Martinelli missed.
Great chance. That.
But you look at this, the stands like behind, and you can almost see like their Gunners sign and all that, because there's so many people have gone, and I get it, right? I do get it. Like, occasionally me and Seb will leave early, not early, but you think, this is Liverpool. Like, you're still in this game. If you can just knock one in now, it'll be 2-1. And they just don't seem to have that there, do they? I don't know what it is,
No, it's because the other thing, I don't know, did you ever go to Highbury?
I never went there, no.
No, I went there once.
Yeah.
It wasn't a Tottenham game, though. It was Arsenal playing somebody in the cup, and I just ended up randomly there to watch it. It was like Yeovil or something really stupid, and I ended up being like, oh yeah, come to this game. It was like a proper old football. It was quite intimidating. It was quite it was like White Hart Lane was the same at times, I'm guessing.
West Ham's old ground, Upton Park, was like that.
Yeah, it was quite a. I'll tell you what. The nearest that still exists has got to be Crystal Palace, isn't it? Selhurst Park. Mm-hmm. You go there on a weeknight. Mm-hmm. That you play there like a 12 kickoff on a Sunday compared to a 7:30 kickoff on a Wednesday.
Yep.
It is wow.
Rocking.
Like, oh crap, I do not want to be here for that.
No.
But anyways, that's nice and random to finish. I like going off on tangents. So yes, that's it, everybody. Massive thank you, as always, for everybody for listening, and thank you to you, good sir, for joining me.
No problem.
We will be back next week, where we will discuss our defeat to West Ham and our victory over whoever the hell's next. Until then, hope everyone has a good time. You look after yourselves.
Take care, mate.
Thank you for listening to the Spurs News Podcast. We hope that you enjoyed the show. Stay up to date with all things Tottenham. Follow us on social media. All links are in the podcast description.